The ceasefire deadline is approaching. Everyone is watching to see if the fighting stops or if the Middle East enters another period of intense conflict. The global community remains on edge, waiting for any sign of a diplomatic breakthrough. For weeks, tensions between the US and Iran have threatened global energy markets. This potential conflict could destabilize the Middle East and trigger a much larger regional war. US and Iran are negotiating heavily. Pakistan is rapidly moving from a quiet observer to a central player in this high-stakes mediation attempt, actively shaping the unfolding diplomatic negotiations. If Islamabad talks fail, the current ceasefire expires, and direct hostilities will likely resume between the two nations. Global leaders are currently focusing their attention on Islamabad, as international diplomatic efforts intensify within the region. Islamabad is bracing for talks while confusion over US and Iran participation leaves the upcoming meeting's future unclear. With the 4525 TM ceasefire deadline looming, diplomats are struggling to confirm which parties will actually attend the talks. Reports on the negotiating table remain inconsistent. The United States signaled it will participate, but no one knows which specific officials are actually joining the American delegation yet. A White House official told Reuters that Vice President JD Vance would lead the team, signaling a high-level diplomatic effort. There has been conflicting messaging regarding the US delegation, with President Trump providing information that differed from reports regarding the team's composition. Trump told ABC News and Ms. Now that Vance would not be part of the visit, adding to the confusion over who will lead the US delegation during these diplomatic negotiations. The Iranian side presents an even more complex puzzle for Pakistani mediators. While Masoud Pezeshkian had previously confirmed participation, formal confirmation of the Iranian delegation to attend the Islamabad peace talks remained awaited as of April 21. Pakistani Information Minister Atala Tarar posted on social media that officials haven't released a formal response regarding the Iranian delegation yet. He said Pakistan is talking to Iranian leaders, trying every diplomatic route to keep these negotiations moving forward. This includes active communication with various Iranian officials to prevent a complete breakdown in dialogue. Pakistan's role has expanded far beyond simple mediation. It has become a hub for regional coalition building in the weeks leading up to these talks. Pakistan secured support for a unified ceasefire plan from leaders in Egypt, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and China to stabilize the region. This intense diplomatic push aimed to pressure officials and stop the fragile peace process from collapsing entirely after weeks of frantic negotiations. Check source. In Islamabad, Pakistani officials including Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Chief of Army Staff Asim Munir are expected to be involved in the negotiations aimed at ending the conflict between Iran and the United States. Preparations are underway in the city, with laborers painting sidewalks and police officers taking positions in Islamabad to ensure security ahead of the possible negotiations between Iran and the United States. Both the US and Iran say they want to attend, but the actual logistics and politics are still very unstable, making a successful summit difficult to guarantee. Regional officials say both sides intend to attend new ceasefire talks. However, previous negotiations failed to finalize any lasting security or energy deals because of several specific, unresolved technical disputes. Everyone is waiting to see if these Islamabad talks actually produce a lasting ceasefire that military force failed to secure. The world remains uncertain about the diplomatic outcome. How does this uncertainty affect everyone else? If the Islamabad talks fail to happen with both sides at the table, diplomacy has effectively collapsed. This leaves no room for further negotiation. This ceasefire expiration threatens global markets and international security far beyond just local borders, creating instability that reaches far across the globe. If the US and Iran resume active fighting, global energy supplies will likely break. This conflict would probably pull in regional powers, turning a localized skirmish into a much larger, more destructive war. We need to look at the ripple effects. If Pakistan succeeds, it becomes a central diplomatic player this century, with the actual leverage to mediate between the world's bitterest rivals. But talks might fail if US delegation confusion or Iranian hesitation persists throughout the negotiations. Failed diplomacy leaves room for military escalation. Islamabad now has zero margin for error. This shift changes everything for the region. Islamabad is changing fast. I'm tracking the US and Iranian delegations closely as the ceasefire deadline nears. Subscribe and hit the bell to see how these shifts play out in real time. I want to hear your take. Drop a comment below with your thoughts on the deadline. I'm Maria. Will Pakistan bridge this divide? Or is war inevitable? Tell me what you think in the comments.